All right, looks like we are on the air. This is kind of the couple-minute pre-show setup, and so you can see what weird things we do. Not really. Um, we'll be ready to start here in a minute. Got the chat room. I think we're good. Guys, you got anything we need to do?
We need to
Not
start.
that I can think of.
All right. I changed the audio settings on the intro and outro, so hopefully this will sound a little better and not blast through everybody's speakers. And let me double. I'm going to double check the podnuts.com/live feed to make sure. Yep, we are live.
Yeah, it's up.
Okay, we're good there. Okay, very cool. All right, let me start the recording. The other recording, my real recording. All right, gentlemen, here we go. Welcome to Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 96. I am your host, Jeff Halash. I'm joined today by Chris Carruthers from rstechteam.com and David Flores from ARAWR Hey, how's it going, Chris?
I'm pretty good, Jeff. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Just a Sunday afternoon, doing a little podcasting. How you doing, David?
Not too bad, not too bad. You got that troll thing going on with the ARAWR PC thing, eh? Those trolls below the bridge, man. They don't know.
ARAWRPC.com. I think it's a cool name. I like it, and I like your dragon logo. So, inside joke. If you guys listen to the podcast, I think it was 92 or 93, probably 93. We had David on there, and he talked about his business and what he does. So we were talking about his logo, and I had a little different cant on his logo than he did. So
yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I thought it was cool though. I do love those types of logos, so they are cool. Hey, guys, this is our weekly call-in show for computer repair techs, and what we're going to do is we will take any calls on the air and talk to each and every one of you. If you want, you can either share information, or if you want to ask a question of any of the hosts, then go ahead and do that. The number is 1-888-697-0162. So go ahead and put that. If you want to, you can use any phone you want and dial into that, and it's not a problem. And anyways, we're going to basically talk tech. We're going to talk about computer repair technicians and kind of what we do in our separate shops. Myself, I'm a mostly, not mostly, but yeah, mostly. I'm a hardware type guy. I do a lot of break fix type stuff. Chris, he does a lot of remote support. So he's the remote support guru on this show, anyways. And then you have you've got David, and he just started up, I don't know, his 50th company, and he's got a lot of things that he's working on, and he's just constantly on fire, moving forward. So, but he does a lot of break fix work. He does a lot of a lot of different types of support in the computer repair field, and not only that, with his company, he supports computer repair techs as Chris does too. So very not similar services. I think they're a little bit separate, but hey, the more the merrier. So that's what I always say. So guys, do you, anything interesting going on in your guys' businesses this week, or any stories that you'd like to share? Or any topics that we want to cover this week?
Well, I got lots of stories, but I think we should hear from David though, because I haven't heard any stories from his company yet.
Oh no!
David,
put me on the spot. What the heck?
all right, fine. So, what I'm finding a huge trend with the back to school. A lot of new setups. A lot of college kids that didn't put antivirus on their computer before they started using it. for things that they probably don't want the person that bought it to know that they're using it for. So there's I'm finding that a lot. I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of data transfers, a lot of software setups. Yeah, I mean it's the season, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The thing I've been seeing a lot of is more of the, we talked about this before too, was, customers that would come in and they forgot to put antivirus on it, or, kind of the similar thing, or they would even put it on there, but they forget to activate it. Like they'd do the paid version of it, and then they'd forget to activate the paid version. So they have this antivirus on there, oh, it's covered, but then you're not doing anything with it, it's kind of a funny thing to end up with.
Oh yeah, it's tough because you sit there and you tell them. And here's what's bad. So the manufacturers are putting this free antivirus on there for a 60-day trial, right? So after the 60 days runs out, nobody knows. Even if they do know, a lot of people really don't want to pay for it, so they don't. And what ends up happening is, especially with Windows 8, you already have Windows Defender on there, which in my opinion is still a decent antivirus. It's better than nothing, and the problem is that's shut down because they have this other antivirus that is no longer updating and no longer working.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh yeah, I'm totally protected. I'm like, no. I said, do you want to pay for this antivirus? And most of the time people say no. I'm going to remove that and I'm going to put, restart Windows Defender so that's working for you, and add a couple maybe malware, removers, malware bytes, super anti-spyware, something like that.
Yeah, malware bytes is always fun, but it's always great when a customer uses Combo Fix for the first time and they don't even know what they're doing.
Oh. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty wild because you must have some pretty brave customers.
Well, they'll go on Bleeping Computer and they'll go, oh, I know how to do this. I can do this myself. And then I'll get a phone call 2 days later. Yeah, my computer doesn't want to turn on now. Windows doesn't boot up. Oh, yeah, okay, well that'll do it.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Chris?
Oh, it's same thing, right? Like you wind up with these customers who they Google something and they're like, oh, hey, this is how you do that. This is easy. I don't know why I'm paying these guys $130 to do it. And then you get the call 2-3 days later, and not only is the infection so much worse, but you wind up fixing everything they wind up breaking. And guess what? That's not included in a virus removal. So you just cost yourself more money by trying to save it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't fix my car.
Right. That's a good point. I've had a couple scenarios this week, in particular, that kind of showed me the same thing. And one person learned from it, the other one probably not. But somebody brought me a laptop with a stripped-out screw, and thank God I was able to, kind of work at it, and I had just the right type flat-edge screwdriver that I could bite into it enough to where I could get the screw loosened and get it out for them. But there was really no edges left to it. They rounded everything out really badly. So, they kind of said, hey, next time, I'll bring it to you before I do anything. And then I had another customer who I just got their computer back just an hour ago, and they had brought it in. It was a black screen. It was a Windows 8 machine, very nice Sony Vaio. Black screen. It had basically a blinking white cursor, so it wasn't booting all the way into Windows. It was doing like a partial boot, but it was getting hung. So what I did was what I wanted to do was I wanted to back their data up. So I took the hard drive out, put it in my bench machine, and then what I had to do is I had to change ownership of the drive and change all the permissions so that I could access the information. Even after doing all that, it still didn't work. I couldn't get the information. So what I ended up doing was I put it back in the machine. I did a refresh, which doesn't touch any of the files and folders and stuff like that. It will wipe out your Windows applications. It doesn't mess with the Windows apps from the Windows Store for Windows 8. But the applications like your Microsoft Office, different things like that, they'll be gone. You have to reinstall them, basically, is what it comes down to. And so I did that, and I was able to get back into the machine and back up the files by plugging in an external hard drive. And when I did that, I said, okay, let me see what's going on. And things were still broken in there after a refresh. So come to find out, the customer didn't tell me this until about the fourth phone call, maybe, that, I was in my Windows folder and deleting some files and I might have deleted something I shouldn't have.
Wow.
I'm like, so at this point, you got to be, customer service. I got to suck it up and go. And in my head, I'm thinking, you are a complete and utter idiot. But anyways, it's one of those things where you go, my gosh, if you just told me that, I would have had a better understanding, and instead of just thinking that there was just something from an update or something that broke the system. So long story short is I still ended up having to do a full reinstall of the system. I backed up the data, did a full reinstall, updated everything, updated to Windows 8.1. Now this customer had brought another computer back in February when I was doing virus removals for $49. I know, never again. Stupid.
Yeah, no kidding.
So when I showed him, now I gave him a discount because normally I charge $125 for a Windows reinstall, backing up your data and everything. It's all included. But because there were some miscommunications, I took some money off and I only charge him $89, which is my normal flat fee if you bring it to me. And he looked at the thing when he came to pick it up and he's like, $89? I'm like going, are you kidding me? I said, and I just looked at him. I said, well, normally I said it costs a lot more than that. I said, but I gave you a discount because, some of the miscommunications and stuff. And I showed him. I, turned it on. Hey, what I did was I reinstalled Windows for you. I got you all the way up to Windows 8.1. All your updates are done. Your Kaspersky is installed. All you got to do is put in your activation code. All you got to do is take it home and install Microsoft Office. Everything else is ready to go. And, okay. And I'm just like going $89. I'm like, so,
Yeah.
That's, again, that comes back to that's not necessarily the type of customer I want. I want the customer that brings it to me, doesn't really ask price. They just bring it to me and say, hey, fix this. I don't really care what it costs. And I'm never going to be the type of technician that's going to gouge somebody. I'm going to take care of them, but it's going to be worth my time to take care of.
Well, and that's the problem with any service industry, right? And I know I keep on going back to the car thing because I helped somebody out that owns an auto body shop around the corner, and they have the exact same thing that we do, right? They don't want to pay $50 for an oil change. They don't want to pay the labor that's involved in replacing this part. The part's only $40. Why did it cost me $100? Well, because it took us an hour to get to that part so that we can replace it.
Right.
And people don't put value on something that they can't hold in their hands and take home. So when you get something abstract like a service, it's really hard for some people to grasp that, yes, this is going to cost money. No, I'm not going to sit here for an hour walking you through setting up something for free because you don't want to pay for it.
Exactly. David, I think you're muted. I think we see you talking, but I don't think anything is coming through.
My mouth is moving, but nothing's coming out. There we go.
No, it is. There we go. We got you
I
back.
can hear myself. All right. No, I mean, time is money. I mean, anytime you work with a customer, you got to at least charge them something. I used to have people that would complain because I used to charge a diagnostic fee just to bring in the computer. And, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and look at your computer for nothing.
Right.
One time I had a computer that came in that was, what's the PC way of saying this? They had bio product on it, biological product on it, and I didn't know this at the time, so I put on some gloves and I looked at it and I'm like, man, it just has a funky smell. Within 5 minutes, I'm like, nope, you got to take it home. I am not working on this. There's no way. And they're like, well, I'll pay you, $150 to get it done. No, I'm good. Thanks. Have a good day. I'm like, yeah, it's just sometimes there's extremes,
You got to know your limits. Now, I will be honest with you. I did take a MacBook Pro apart one time that a cat had urinated on.
Oh, wow.
And because they had waited so long, normally when something gets spilled, even urine, if you get it cleaned up right away, you can save the machine. And what I normally do is I'll take the whole thing apart. Same thing, rubber gloves and all that. Except when it's on sharp computer parts, the rubber gloves get ripped. But anyways, I'll take apart a machine and I'll go and clean it with alcohol and a scrubbing brush, and just take it all the way down to the motherboard, clean all the stuff up, and most of the time when I put it back together, it's fine. But what happens is these people just let it alone for too long, and then what it ends up doing is corroding the points on the motherboard and creating connections and shorting things out. So, but I'm with you, David. Now, if somebody brought me something like that, I would just say, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, that's the disgusting end of the business that you don't really need to get into. It's just wow.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it. There's no reason to. I mean, hey, maybe you needed the money at the time, dude. I don't know, but I never would have done anything like that because it takes way too much time. You're never going to get enough money out of them for it. Like, you probably spent 4 or 5 hours cleaning that thing, and if I'm charging somebody what my hourly rate was, they're buying a new computer for 5 hours worth of work.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. No, and that was that was probably a long time. Well, it was a really long time ago, but it was also for a friend at work. So he had just brought me. It was a machine. I said, I'll take a look at it. No big deal. Well, I didn't realize the extent of the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I can't understand what would possess a cat to hop up on your laptop and pee on it.
Well, they already go on the keyboard to stop you from using it. Maybe this one just had enough.
I guess.
Wow. That's a bad day. That's just a really bad day.
Especially on a MacBook of all things. You're looking at a $1,000 to $1,200 machine.
If it's an old Impel or Dell, I mean, I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Either way, oh, that's great. My laptop's ruined. In talking about price, here's another, scenario that, my father-in-law just called me about some information that he needed to help somebody out with their computer. And this elderly lady went and bought a brand new Microsoft Surface. I don't know if it was just the Surface or the Surface Pro, but she bought a keyboard with it. So you're still looking at the $400, $500, $600, $700 range, depending on which one you got. And didn't want to pay Best Buy $30 to set up her email, Skype, all that kind of stuff. So my father-in-law spent half a day for free fixing this stuff up because this lady did not want to pay $30.
In her defense, it was Best Buy, but
well, yeah,
but
$30.
But this is what I'm talking about, right? Right? She didn't want to pay for it. If it was a laptop carrying case, and they said, "Hey, we got this carrying case here for $30, so you can carry your laptop around for $30," she probably would have bought that.
Right.
But she didn't want to pay for service, and that's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Non-tangible goods are always hard to pay for. Yep.
Yeah. And unless you can really show them the benefit of it. So I shouldn't really say that nobody will pay for service. People will pay for services. But you, as the person selling that service, needs to be able to show them how it benefits them and what they're going to get out of it. Like the maintenance, maintenance plans and antivirus plans and all of that, where you sit there and you say, hey, we can do all of these things for you. And yeah, you're going to get some success from people who don't have a virus on their computer. But for the most part, if you're selling them something like that, you're selling it to the person that already has the virus because it's an easier sell.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's unfortunate that people, it comes down to we kind of live in a society that says, I'm not going to do anything until it's broke.
Yep.
So that's rough.
Just the problem is when it breaks, that's when you wind up losing years of wedding photos and kids' pictures and all of that because you didn't want to spend, however much it would have cost for either a plan or an antivirus or just for someone to go through and put crypto prevent on there. It takes 5 minutes.
Right.
Something as simple as that can save their butt over and over again.
Exactly. Let's set up a backup. Let's set up antivirus. Let's get you on a plan. Let's do something. And oh no, it's fine. I've never had a virus. Well, you probably have. You just don't know.
Right.
It's like saying I've never had the cold. Come on.
Exactly. Like I bet you have. And you know what? That ad at the top of that website shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And those toolbars that you have that's taking up your whole Internet Explorer. Oh, by the way, why are you using Internet Explorer again?
Yeah.
Explain that one.
Yeah, that's a hard one too. I've gotten to the point now where I just tell people it's a personal preference because by the time they've gotten to that point, I've already got them on a plan anyway. So it's use it if you want. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, it's you try to educate your customer as best as you can and let them know what they need to do or what they should do. And a lot of times they're either going to listen to you or not. This customer that I had. The first thing I had him with that laptop was I said, are these files backed up? There's all kinds of pictures on there. No. Okay, well, the information's still there. That's good. By the time it's all said and done, my parting words with him were, it would probably be a good idea for you to get an external hard drive and back this stuff up because if you drop this laptop, if something happens, all your information is gone.
Yep.
Now, will they do it? Probably not.
No.
Because he just paid me $89 to fix it, which is a steal. But you know.
Oh, heck no, they're not going to say, well, you know, for an extra $30 you can do this. No, I'm okay. I'll take my chances.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've asked people too. I said, listen, if your computer caught fire right now, what would you do? And after they make the joke of putting the fire out, you tell them, like, listen, you've got all of this stuff on here. You've got baby pictures. Are those pictures anywhere else? Well, no, I took them off my camera and I put them on computer so it'd be safe. Okay, so you were afraid that your camera would get lost, broken, or stolen, and that you'd lose those pictures. So your safety net was to put them on your desktop. Do you know how big that power supply is? That thing could catch fire if it shorts out.
Right.
The worst things could happen. You could get a virus, which is a lot easier. But trying to explain that to them, I'm not going to spend the time to explain to them what would happen if they got crypto locker. But if your computer caught fire, you wouldn't have these things. And you'd come crying to me because, oh, I lost all these pictures. You got to get these pictures back. And you're going to be upset with me because I couldn't get them. And I'm going to remind you, I told you already that for $96 or you know, $30 or $100 or however much it is, I could have backed all of this stuff up for you, and you'd have them right now.
Hey guys, hold on one sec.
Oh.
We got a call coming in. I didn't notice it at first.
Cool.
Jeff.
All right. Yeah, I'm new to this. Hey Cody, how you doing?
Good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You didn't realize that your name popped up, did you?
No, I was hoping to do this all anonymously.
Oh, good job, Jeff.
No, I was going to say who I was. Come on, Jeff. You're a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. We can do this like gentlemen.
All right, go ahead and say who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
My name is Cody Cooper. I'm the co-host of another Podnutz show, Linux for the rest of it. And I do all sorts of tech-related stuff. And I actually wanted to call because I have two legit questions. One, I used to be a tech. I used to mainly do, software, Windows reinstalls, virus removal, that type of stuff. And then I kind of dipped my toe into screen replacements because that was easy enough for me to do without delving into the real meat of the laptop. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you do when a customer needs a keyboard replacement? Now, you guys just got done talking about bio remnants and all sorts of filth and muck, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking more specifically about a keyboard replacement in the case of needing a few keys have been popped off. Because I got two laptops here at the home that need essentially keyboard replacements. Because when I went to replace those keys, I mean, there's multiple pieces for those things, and if I order them directly from the manufacturer, it's quite a bit per key. But if I order the entire keyboard, it's also like insanely priced. So what are you guys doing when it comes to this? And is there a tip you can give me as far as where to order the parts to get them a better price, or how would you go about it if it was one of your customers or someone in your family?
Duct tape.
Well,
100%
duct tape. There you go. Yeah,
just put it right over the top of the computer and just type right on the duct tape. You can draw out the little numbers and the keypads and everything. It works great, man. It's a quick fix. I use eBay.
Right.
Literally, I just use eBay.
Yep.
If I get any keyboards in, the number one thing that I get in is usually like old laptops. I'll keep some of the keys in those little the pressure sensors for the actual keys themselves, the depression springs. So I'll hang on to those, and I'll have those as a backup laying around. But if I ever have to order any, I usually try and go on eBay, find them on there first. If not, I usually just notify the customer, hey, I can't find them for a cheap enough price. They're going to be the more expensive price. I usually try and give them like an A, and B, and a C class of pricing. And then I usually order them from the manufacturer. But that's just my take on it.
Now, I'll tell you from my standpoint, I have not done a keyboard replacement in quite a while. You're right, Cody. It is quite costly sometimes. But as a general rule, I did replace some keys on a laptop I had, and I can't remember the name of the website. It was like laptopkeyreplacement.com or something like that. I'll have to find the business card. Anyways, that's where I ordered some keys. But even when you order it, by the time shipping and handling all that stuff, for each key and all the mechanism that goes underneath, it's about $12, which that's expensive for one key. Now, most of your mainstream keyboards are normally about $20 on Amazon or eBay or whatever if you can find them. The problem that you're probably running into, which I ran into on a few machines, is that, man, some of those keyboards, I don't know what makes them so special because they don't light up or anything, but I've seen they're like $50, $60. And I'm like, wow, that is just terrible. So it really depends on the laptop or which laptop it is, and whether it's going to be more beneficial to replace a couple keys, because if it's a couple keys, you can get the key replacement from this website, and they show you all the different types that they have, and they'll show you whatever ones you need, and they're going to be about $12 a piece. But if you're replacing two, that's $24 versus spending $50, $60 on a keyboard, unless you can get the whole keyboard for around $20.
Zoid in the chat was saying the same thing that I was figuring, is that if you're at a point where you're replacing keys anyway, those are probably not going to be the only keys that are worn. That's probably not going to be the only problem with the keyboard. And labor, time, and just replace the keyboard.
Yeah.
I've never replaced a single key. I replaced the keyboard. You've got a broken key. I'm getting you a new laptop keyboard. Here's how much it is.
That's a good point too, because you know just as well as I do, you guys can get in and replace that one part and you put it back together. I can say I made a mistake, and I've talked to other techs too, where they literally take the customer at their word. Oh, there's this one thing wrong, like your first job or two. Like, okay, cool, you go and fix that one thing, give it back to them. They call you up an hour later. Hey, this still isn't working. You're like, oh my god, now I gotta. Steve Cherubino has a great story about a tablet screen replacement where he left a fingerprint on an Asus tablet after he got done putting it back together and didn't notice until he handed it to the customer. The customer flipped out.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the situation though. I've got a Lenovo one. I need an entire keyboard I need replaced because my wife let my newborn have it like a fool. Like that's how she is.
Ouch.
But another one. Yeah, I know. At first, it was just like 2 letters in a shift. She's like, I can get by, and then she let it have it again, and then like half the keyboard's gone out. She's like, I can't keep it. So I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you don't listen to me. So I need that one replaced, which is easy enough. I mean, like Lenovo, HP, Dell, you should be able to find those either from the manufacturer or anywhere. But then I have a System 76 laptop, which is it's one of those laptop kits that these third-party manufacturers use to open source hardware to sell laptops. But with that, like they want $85 for the keyboard plus shipping, because it's a 2 or 3 year old model, and like I found the classification number for this kit they used to make this laptop, and I can't find the replacement parts for it anywhere. So I'll go digging for those, and that's good info. But the second part of that first question is, if you're doing the full keyboard replacement, in your experience with however many you've replaced before, is it that difficult? I mean, like I can open up the case and from the top or bottom and do certain things to it, but with the level of experience I've told you I have, do you think that would be an easy swap in, swap out for me?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most keyboard replacements are, in my opinion, just as easy, if not easier, than even a screen repair. I'm the same way. I love screen repairs because they're so simple and easy to do. You're taking a bevel off. It's usually a handful of screws, and you've got the one cable on the back of it. Keyboard's the same thing. The biggest thing is, and in one of I have spoogers or whatever you call them. But I've got another tool that's a flat end tool. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody else told me on another podcast. But I use that for lifting up the front of the keyboard to unlock the little tabs, and it works beautifully. I can get a keyboard out in a matter of minutes. It's very,
a little rubber tip.
It's like a dental tool.
Is it a tool iSesamo?
iSesamo, that's it. You got it. That's my favorite tool. Yeah, I think that's where I might have heard it from. But that's a great tool.
Nice.
And you can get in the laptop without scratching anything, and you just pop those little tabs, and it makes it so much easier than even using those plastic spoogers where you try to get in there, and then I got to use a metal one, and you end up scratching something. So
yeah,
right.
Beautiful tool.
Okay. Well, guys, you gave me a lot of confidence and some good tips. I really do appreciate you answering that question. Jeff, I got one last question. This is more directed to you because I don't know these other two fellas, but why are you such a Linux hater?
Oh, my gosh. Are you really going to bring that up now? You know,
I figure if I'm gonna put you on the spot, it might as well be live on the air, right? I mean, you can edit it out later, but let's face it, I'm gonna put it on Google Plus right now.
The hang up button is right next to the pickup button, Jeff.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, listen, I just had to hear you laugh. Hey guys, you're doing a great job with the show. I like the new direction it's going. You and I can. Well, here's what we'll do, Jeff. We'll get some podiums. We'll do a debate, like Google Plus live. A whole nother show about that whole topic. We'll get suits and ties, and we'll just go at it mano a mano, okay?
Well, you didn't hear the new show that I'm starting?
Oh, here we go.
Windows for the rest of us.
Well, see, the problem with that is that people who use Windows who really need the help don't know how to understand to download a podcast, so I don't think you're going to do that well with it.
No, they all know how to use iTunes.
Oh, good point, good point.
Now that you guys firmly whipped him into a tizzy, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye.
I appreciate you calling in, Cody, and those are two good questions there. Even in the third jab. Have a good one.
Yeah, all right. Bye-bye, you too.
All right, I'm going to jump in here with a question that came in through the chat.
Okay.
In your opinion, what is the best bootable ISO for virus scanning? The wife insists on running Windows, and I think she got popped.
Say that again.
Sure. What is the best ISO for virus scanning? So what he wants to do is put an ISO to make a bootable CD or a bootable USB and scan for viruses outside of the Windows environment. I'm going to talk about why you don't, unless you can't boot, you shouldn't have to do that, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the use case scenario. Unless you can't get it booted. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, if the computer can't be booted, I would say that almost deems a reformat. I mean, in my own personal experience, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but just from my own personal experience, if the computer cannot boot up, or maybe you have all these damn pop-ups that keep coming up all the time, that almost deems a reformat. If you need to save the data, I'm going to use Jeff's favorite OS, but you can boot up into something like a Linux derivative of like Linux Mint or Ubuntu, and then copy and dump all your files that way. But beyond that, I mean, I personally would never do that, just because I mean, removing the virus is going to cause more problems than just reformatting if you can, if you can help it.
I think there is a time factor in there. A couple of things that off the top of my head that I might try is something like the Kaspersky Rescue CD, and that gives you a pre-boot environment where you can load, the Kaspersky virus definitions and run it, and it'll do a good job of capturing everything. I have done that in the past. Or another one would be, especially for some of these, FBI type viruses and stuff like that you can't get past. I use Hitman Pro's Kickstart, and then there is another tool from Nick Shaw over at Foolish IT. It's called Debug, and it is a free tool. And what we did with that tool is we made a pre-boot environment. It was a Windows 8 pre-boot environment, and you can look up how to basically do that. I put it on a USB stick and a disk because sometimes I can't get the computer to boot to USB, so I have to actually use a physical disk. But once you get in there, I can launch. He made a program that will launch the debug, and what it does is it stops all things in the beginning from starting up. So what it does is it changes the parameters and stops a lot of things that normally start up, and then reboots your computer. You should be able to go back into the Windows environment, finish your cleanup, and then there's an undo command for debug. That's something I've been playing around with lately because I have been bitten, not myself, but customers have been bitten by the FBI virus, ICE virus, these things that basically put a screen up and mess with your user GUI is basically what it does. It corrupts the DLL file for the user interface. And so a lot of times those types of things work. Those are just some of the tools off the top of my head that I have used in the past, and it gets past, gets me to a certain point where I can clean the machine up. But going back to what David said, it's a good point. There's a lot of times where I spend too much time on a machine, and sometimes it's easier to pull the drive, back up the data, and go ahead and reinstall Windows and move your data back over.
Okay. System restore.
If you can get to that, I'll be honest with you, I know everybody uses it. Every time I have tried to use System Restore myself, and if you can, yeah, absolutely, Chris is right. But there's never a file. Something happened, you know.
Look, I've had that happen once. Like I do 99.999% of the work that I do is remote, obviously. Right. I mean, I have a friend of mine brought his computer to me. That's pretty much how far my hardware repairs wind up going over the last since November. But System Restore and Kickstart have been the two things that I've ever had to use. And if that doesn't work, pulling the drive out and repairing it with a good machine, like I have a bench machine for that, that's all I've ever needed to do. You know, like reformatting, reinstalling, I've never bothered with any of that because, yeah, I mean, it can take a little bit more time, but if I'm sticking something in a dock and then walking away from it while the virus is mostly being removed and then doing a couple of Windows repairs, I don't have to, you know, go, wow, I gotta watch my language there. I don't have to play around with, you know, backing up the data, making sure the data goes back in there beyond the, you know, the clone that I've already made. So what, you know, I don't want to have to go through all of that. It's easier just to clean the virus for me. I don't know. That's just always been my way of doing it.
Yeah, and another tool, I think, Dave, you just brought this up. You want to talk about the tool that you're familiar with?
Sure, why not? Let's do a plug for Repair Deck Solutions. No,
keep the announcer voice.
Yeah, hey, why not, guys? Come on down. This is the Repair Tech Solution Show. Yeah, I mean, Repair Tech is the one program that I use. Heck, might as well do a plug for them. I'm partnered with them anyways. Why not, eh? They're good guys.
Well, we actually they have a banner on our website, so we partner with them.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we're very familiar with them.
Good. Yeah, you were talking about like the D7. I believe that the gentleman that made the D7 also worked with the Repair Tech Solutions guys, I think. Okay. So yeah, the PE works off of their system too. They have the pre-boot on there, and then the Tech USB is a great program. In fact, on a tangent, I guess you could call it, I just used their USB to do a Oafcrack Vista, if you can believe that someone still has Vista running around. To actually pull off their administrator password. So I mean, you can even do that kind of thing with it. As far as the virus goes, yeah, you can, you know, load anything that you want on there. It's just a Linux derivative that's what's on there. So you can pull that and clean off your virus solution. I'm seeing if there's anybody chatting with us. It's more like kryptonite. Yeah.
Talking about System Restore.
Oh, System Restore is like a superpower? Yeah. See, now, my only issue with the System Restore is I've had people that'll do the actual backup for their System Restore the day prior. So they'll have, you know, the information that's on there is corrupt itself, or like, you know, Jeff, you were talking about someone deletes their System 32 folder, and then that's a great day. You know,
at that point, they just should send the computer back.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you do remote support, right? So I mean, you're not so much as far as the bench work, are you, Chris, or no?
I owned, like, I still do own a computer company, but like, you know, I did a lot of bench work and on-site before I started doing remote.
Okay.
So, you know, November is when I started that. I still do some hardware repairs for friends, family, and old clients, but for the most part, I'm just doing the remote. And what I found, because System Restore winds up being a tool that I need to use a lot, it works, and when it doesn't work, then you work around that. You guys probably don't go to the System Restore nearly as much as I do because you're doing the physical work.
Yeah. And see, that's why I like, you know, having you, is because we can give a, you know, twofold side to it, because, you know, from me and Jeff's side, we're going to be looking at it more of like, how can we get this done the fastest way? And how can we get this done without having, you know, future-based problems? And you're looking at it from the remote side, where you're actually logged into the front end of the computer, seeing only what you can actually see on there, on your screen, basically.
Right, and what you'll find, like, my callback rate for virus removals, including like FBI virus, no problem. Right, I take them all the time, and the callback rate, unless somebody reinfects themselves, there's a whole story behind that I'm happy to share. the callback rate is very low. And it's a combination of, oh, you got the FBI virus? All right, let's do a system restore. Perfect, system restore is done. All right, now I'm going to clean the virus off the computer before you wind up getting locked down again. If you've got something encrypted, I can't do anything about that, but I can get you clean so that you're okay going forward. Now, make sure you delete the email that you got in the first place that gave you the virus so that you don't re-download it, but hey, I can't do anything about that.
That Nigerian email that tells you that your uncle died and that you have inherited, $4 million. Yeah, that one is a good one.
That was pretty much the story. Is that we did a system restore, got the FBI virus off of somebody's laptop. It was fixed. It was great, and then he opened up a new email that had the that had the same virus on it. So they called us back asking for a warranty repair. Their system restore was now corrupt. It was a new strain. And the company that I was doing the work for wound up sending somebody on site, pulled the drive out, cleaned everything, and showed him the email that he had that had the infection on it. Yes, it doesn't always work. System restore doesn't work every single time, but I use it so much that I can say that 80 to 90% of the time, system restore works just fine.
And I'll be honest, from my standpoint, a lot of times I forget, because I'm more the hands-on tech. So, I'll just go in and I throw my tools on there and I start, cleaning and moving and shaking, and I put on my dance music. No, not really. But anyways,
I thought you were going to tell me that you put on a maid's uniform too, man.
with my feather duster over the keyboard.
Wow, this went to a very dark place very quickly, guys.
Anyways,
Guess you were turning red here. What the heck's going
exactly.
on?
It's like,
and
wow.
before your entertainment.
What did I just say? No, but Steve Cherubino has always talked about using System Restore and having that, as his go-to tool to get him to a point where he can work on a machine. And like I said, a lot of times for us, I forget personally, so I'm working on this, that, and the other. So it's definitely a preference of what you can do, but it probably should be the first thing that you try. I just know in the past when I have tried it, the system restore has always been corrupted for me. So, but again, I seem to get a lot of computers that are so broken by the time they get to me that they've been infected for such a long time. But the one thing that broke Internet Explorer, now they can't get on the internet. So they were fine with waiting 10 minutes for the computer to start up, for 6 months. But then it got, hey, I can't get online now. Now I got to take it to you to fix it. Well, it's not just that one thing. It's many things. So, anything else on that? Yeah.
So somebody just logged into the chat specifically to say Chris is right. Use system restore.
Oh, hey, yeah, there you go.
So
Feather
thank you
duster or boa.
That's
I love that from Marvin B. there. Thanks, Marvin.
Feather duster or boa.
Oh man, that's awesome. No, that's a good point. These are and these are things that we do have a lot of different perspectives on, and just different things that we see. Now the FBI virus, that's always been the one that really has gotten me in the past. But I've used both Hitman Pro, Kickstart, and Kaspersky Rescue Disk to get rid of those things. The only thing I don't like about the Kaspersky Rescue Disk is that it takes a super long time to run. It just takes forever. Hitman Pro is very quick, but you can only use it one time, or they want you to buy a license after that. So if somebody gets infected twice, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, but Jeff, they shouldn't be getting infected twice, because you should have them sold on a plan when they get the virus removal done.
Well, that was before I started working with you, and that customer, as a matter of fact, is on a managed service plan using you. So
there you go. That's the way it should be.
And I'll tell you, another thing you guys got to look at is look in the download folder on that customer's machine.
Yeah.
Here's what you'll find a lot of times. Look for flashinstaller.exes. A lot of times those are the virus, thing that's setting off the virus. There's different things like that on there. Java updates, different things like that. So make sure you check the downloads folder, because a lot of times there's a lot of stuff in there that I get rid of that has either come up as an infection after I've cleaned the machine, or I've already seen it ahead of time and I've gotten rid of it, just in case.
Awesome.
Join us on the multicolored flag side. We have System Restore. I'm loving this. Oh man.
System restore for the win. So I guess
That's
if
right.
we were to have a poll, I guess Chris, you would have won this round.
I think so.
Yeah.
Victory.
There's nothing that I like better than getting imaginary points for winning a competition.
There you go. There you go. So what other types of things are you guys dealing with nowadays? I know the back to school rush is really is here, and Chris, I know you're doing a lot of remote support. David, what are you doing now? You still are you working in a shop still, or are you running the companies to help other computer repair shops out?
Well,
Or a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, yeah. Jack
Okay.
of all trades kind of thing.
Okay.
The number one thing that I've had besides the antivirus thing is computer rebuilds or computer builds themselves. So like custom computers.
Oh, nice.
A lot of gamers up here. I mean, we got Michigan Tech University, which is about 2.5, 3 hours north from me. The college that's located here, we used to call it UP Frag Fest. It was a gaming tournament that was local to us, and I mean we're all Upers here, eh? Chris, I think aren't you Canadian, right, Chris?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm in Uperland. I'm really close.
All right.
Yeah, really. I'm an hour and a half away from the border, eh?
Yeah. We don't say that nearly as much as you guys think we do, eh?
I know. Well, we say it more than you.
You
Which
probably
is,
do.
I went to college and they're all like, you must be Canadian because you say A all the time. I'm like, I'm actually not Canadian, but sure, let's call it Canadian. And the Canadian guy's like, wow, you say A more than I do. I'm like, well, yeah.
But here's the trick: is that Canadians are better at customer service. So whenever you get seen like that, you're just going to wind up working out better off anyway.
Wow.
I don't know.
There?
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Anyways.
Alrighty
this
then.
is good. No, I usually see a lot of computer builds, and a lot of the guys up here are going for the liquid cooling. So, and they keep seeing all this stuff from like, what the heck is that custom building site? I can't even think of it. It's from Europe. They do like custom computer builds, and they want me to build stuff like that. I'm like, I don't do that kind of stuff, man. I just build them, I put them together, do cable management and basic stuff. But they want liquid cooling with the see-through acrylic pipes and stuff like that. But they don't want to pay the money,
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like, okay, well that's going to cost you $3,500, but
Right.
you only want to spend $2,000 at most, and that's for the whole thing, including the Windows, operating system. It's like that's impossible, man. I can't do that.
You know what though? Around here, like we're a World of Warcraft town. This is, I'll admit it. Don't shake your head.
Guild Wars 2, man.
But
What is World of Warcraft?
I'm not going to get into that conversation. All right. So moving on from that, you know what? For $2,000, you can make a really good WoW box. Very, very good. Ultra settings, everything.
Well, yeah, you could also play like DOS games with a.
You sure can.
computer.
But this is the thing though, is it depends on what you're into, right? And like these first-person shooter people, like I'm not going to not play a first-person shooter, but my rig's built for it. But most of the people around here, when they want a custom computer built, they're looking anywhere between 15 and 2, because that's all they need. So I guess it depends on what they're playing.
Oh, you can build a great machine for $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
There's no
Heck,
doubt
you can
about
build
it.
one for $1,000. I mean, really. I mean, that's how much I paid for mine, and it's got a 280X, A10 CPU. I mean,
you can build yourself one for $1,000, but I'm not gonna.
Okay,
Yeah.
touche.
So let's come on.
Well, yeah, I can tell the customer that too. I can build you one for $1,000. He'll play the game, but will it play it well?
That's right.
That's the thing.
That's where the extra 500 is.
Yep. Exactly.
Right.
And that's where it comes down to is, how much time do they want to have put into it? If they want something that's liquid cooled and the best with 4, video cards SLI'd in it or whatever they want in it, yeah, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. But I guess the unrealistic value is there around my area is what I've been seeing a lot of. They want this, but they can only afford this. Beer budget, but I want to have wine taste kind of thing.
Right. Well, you have to either that or you go and you go online and you figure out how to build a machine yourself, and you can save yourself a couple $100 that way.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to see.
Taking my business, man.
Well, part of the problem though is what they're asking for is they're not asking for us to build a machine. They're asking for our expertise in how to build a machine,
Yeah.
and in
Correct.
getting them the right parts that they're not going to have to, that are not going to break in a year, that they'll have a great machine that'll last for, several years, and that's really what they're asking for. We look at it as just they're asking for us to build them a machine, but they want our expertise, and that's what they're going to get, and that's really what you're paying for. And if you can't afford it, either save your pennies, figure out how to do it yourself, or buy something a little bit less.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not even. You're right. It's not just the time that it takes me to build the computer. It's the time that it takes me to research the parts, put
Right.
everything together, build the computer. I mean, let's be honest. I have Brad doing the building now because I just don't have time to sit down and build a computer, and he's got nothing better to do on a Sunday anyway. But I mean, it's still the same problem. I'm going to pay him for the hour to 2 hours that it takes him to build this computer and set up the software install. I need to make sure that that's being charged back. So no, $1,000 for a custom gaming PC just isn't going to work out for them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times too, a lot of people don't realize, you can. I'm going to go back to what David said. Okay, if I'm gaming in 1080p, so I have a 1920 by 1080p, resolution screen. Yes, $1,000 PC will run that thing top notch 100% of the time, no problem. Okay, but if I'm moving up to my resolution, 2560 by whatever it is.
1440.
Yeah, or 1600. Yeah, either one.
Yeah.
If I'm running at the higher resolution, which is basically, for all intended purposes, 2K, it's not quite 4K. It's half of 4K. Then you've got to put a lot more horsepower behind it.
Yeah.
Now I'm still rocking I've got a Core i7. It's still a 4-core. I didn't feel the need to go up to a 6-core processor. I don't need it. But I do have 32 gigs of RAM. So I paid for that. The only thing that's holding me back, and I think a really expensive part that a lot of us don't really count in anymore, is the hard drive. To have a decent sized hard drive and get an SSD is very expensive. You're looking at sometimes that's half to a quarter of the cost when you're talking about building a PC.
Well,
that's
yeah,
not
but
even
the hybrid
including
drives are
OS.
fine though.
Are they? Do they work good?
Yeah, I have a hybrid drive in mind. Like the thing is if there are certain applications that you use a lot, a hybrid drive is great. If you get the smart ones, right? Because I play World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft winds up being run off of the majority, the solid state portion of it, as does the operating system, and it runs great.
Okay.
Right? So you get the extra speed without needing to put that much money into it. I'd be better off with a solid state drive, but I'm not going to buy a terabyte solid state drive.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Now that's what I'm kind of waiting for. I'm waiting for the price to come down a little bit because I would like a terabyte solid state drive because that's with the size spinning drive I have is a terabyte, and with all the games I have installed and all the things that I do, that's what works for me. Now, as far as gaming, that's not going to improve my gameplay at all. The load times, literally, if you watch any of the benchmarks, the load times you're looking at a maximum of 4 seconds for loading. Between a solid state and a spinning drive. But where it would help is in the Windows day-to-day, moving things around, Photoshop, doing any video editing, audio editing. That would take a lot of the lag out that I'm getting right now just from doing those types of things. So I think it's almost more important to have an SSD for doing any type of what do you call it?
Well, anything that's drive intensive, right?
Right.
There are some games that are hard drive intensive. They're few and far between, but they do exist.
Right.
Then you've got just the Windows boot time. I mean, I love the fact that it takes like 4 seconds for my Windows PC to start up.
That's always a bonus.
Right.
You get like an extra 4 seconds out of your day. I mean, it used to be you could go and get a cup of coffee and have a donut and come back and your computer's still not started up. But
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and now it's like, oh man, I slept in. It's 8:55. Okay, all right, computer's on. So yeah, I try to tell people that, like, do you want to wait? Hey, if it's not important for you, you can save the $10. But for a hybrid drive, at least for your main drive, it's only an extra $10-15 to get the hybrid drive in the same size. So why not?
Huh. I've never
That's a
actually
good
tried
tip.
one before.
Yeah, I never have either. So that's a good tip to know. Yeah, if you're getting that performance out of it, that's good.
There you go. MB Systems Inc. Replacing regular drives in higher-end business systems with 1 terabyte Seagate solid-state hard drives for less than $70.
Wow.
What?
The solid-state hard drives, so those are the hybrid drives.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, okay. The hybrid
Right,
drive.
SSD versus SSHD.
Ah, I get it. Okay.
I said hard though, so I wasn't reading it right.
Well, that's fine. So other than gaming, we kind of went off on a great tangent there. We're talking about gaming, and we're all nerds, obviously. Some weirder than others, but anyways.
Was it the bald hair and receding hairline from half of us? And
I don't think it can recede any further than it is.
We got to see the spiked hair, man, one of these days.
You know what? It might happen. I would have to go one day without taking a shower, and it would just be right up. It's nasty.
Yeah, the humidity gets to mine. What now? This Fashion Weekly. What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing.
Anyways, David. So, are there any weird machine stories that you have that you've worked on that you just go, man, I can't believe this happened?
Oh yes. I had a computer repair shop in Manistee, which is an hour east of me. Not Manistee, like down by you.
Okay.
But yeah, different town. And the computer came in, and it would turn off on its own after maybe, let's say, an hour and a half. I think you and I were talking about this a little bit while ago. And it would turn off. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Left it on the bench, did a couple tests, hot CPU, that kind of thing, and just do a burn-in test. Turned off again, hour and a half. All right, fine. So took everything out, reseated everything, put it back together, turned off an hour and a half, 2 hours, give or take. Finally came to the conclusion, looked at the motherboard. I let it run for 6 hours straight. I put it on a low temp, put it in a freezer. And this is not a joke. We put it in a freezer. We asked the customer if this was okay because I wanted to try something. The motherboard itself was actually split down the middle. They had a younger person that was using the computer, and they were overclocking the CPU so high without the heatsink on the CPU. It actually split the motherboard in half from top to bottom. It was a Dell. It was when Dell first bought out Alienware, and they were using those, but they took off the CPU because they thought it would run cooler because the air could make more contact with the CPU. Is what the teenage boy told me. Well. You're right. It will, get more contact with the air, but not like what you think, man. And so, needless to say, the motherboard would actually just split right down the middle. It was a hairline fracture, but it was enough that you could really tell the difference, and it would turn off after an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. It was bizarre.
That's insane.
But yeah, it was one of those things where you just kind of shake your head and put your hand to your head, and it was just, wow. So you end up buying a new computer.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what, though? It would be really nice to find a way to keep them even cooler than the liquid cooling. I don't know if anybody else saw this, but I think it was E3. They were showing off just a quad-core processor, and they were shooting liquid nitrogen at it to see how far they could cool it. Did you see that?
No,
yes.
I didn't. Was it cool?
It was. Well, it outperformed anything that I've ever seen.
Works too. This is going to sound weird, but if you take petroleum jelly and you smear it on top of the CPU, I know people are going to try this now, and you take the air duster cans and you turn them upside down, you can actually freeze the petroleum jelly, and it works similar to liquid nitrogen. It keeps it at a cold enough temperature where you can actually run it at a high speed like that. It works. It's awesome. I've tried it a couple times. It's like, whoa, that's cool.
Now, kids at home, try this at your own risk. We are not responsible for anything that we say on this show.
Do not try this at home.
That's not how you say that. You just say, don't do it, Jeff.
Don't do it.
We are professionals. Don't do this.
Yeah. Do it on an old machine.
Yeah, with a Pentium 4, right?
Yeah. Does anybody? I mean, I don't find the need to overclock anymore. Does anybody find the need for that?
With the i5s and the i7s, I don't think that you really need to anymore, unless you're like, you want to get that extra frame rate. And what's the point of getting that one extra frame per second? You're just
It's
putting too much
ludicrous.
strain on the hardware, and you're just lowering the life of your system at that point.
You know,
It's more like
I just made a stupid comment because I just realized that this machine is actually overclocked to 4.4 gigahertz. So I don't know what in the world I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. Forget it. Don't. Oh my gosh! I forgot I overclocked it, and to be honest with you, I don't know why.
Because
Just
it's
'cause I could.
cool.
Yeah,
Because
just
it's
because I
cool.
could. Oh.
Just throwing
Yeah,
it
it's
out
gotta
there.
be the cool
We are
factor.
not making Podnutz Mythbusters. I'm throwing that out there right now. That is not happening.
That's right.
But thank you
Oh,
for
come
that.
on.
No.
Oh,
See how hot you could get the CPU before it cooks meat. I mean, come on.
there you go.
A
There
whole
you go.
steak dinner on the CPU.
I've seen
Actually,
RAM
my graphics card, I could do that.
Oh my gosh.
I've
Well, guys,
I've seen RAM glow.
have you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's hot.
Yeah, turn off the safety on a 10-year-old computer.
Turn off the safety. What do you mean?
Computer. The reason why computers shut off when they overheat is to prevent a fire, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
turn that off.
Oh.
Old enough system, you can.
Tandy 5000 used to do that.
Yeah. And then all you have to do is take out the cooling and turn it on and wait for a little while. And if you're lucky, it'll start glowing before it melts.
Wow.
I think it has to be
Again,
gold tipped, though.
don't try this at home. We're not responsible for anything you do at all.
This
Just like-
this title of this episode should be "Do not try this at home."
That's
Yeah.
right.
I think we found our theme.
There you go.
Techbusters. Hey, all right.
Well, hey guys, we're at about an hour here. Yeah, I don't see any more calls. We got some people playing around in the chat room, and there's Mitch. Is there anything anything else you guys want to talk about? That maybe we haven't touched on, or Chris, you got any weird stories?
I always have weird stories, but we'll be here for a while. You know what? Just going to give my tidbit for the day because I like to do that.
Okay.
Remember agreement forms. Make sure your agreement forms are filled out. If I take another phone call from somebody that didn't fill out an agreement form that wants warranty support and expects us to do it, I am not going to be happy with that. Fill out the agreement forms. That's my
Amen to
tidbit.
that. That's good. Dave, you got anything?
Call me now. Operators are standing while I'm sitting down.
Hey guys, why don't you go ahead and go ahead and give your contact information and go ahead and plug your businesses.
Have at her, Chris.
All right, thanks, David. For anybody that doesn't know, my name is Chris. I'm from Remote Support Tech Team. We offer white label tech support, white label MSP, and backup for all of our clients. So feel free to visit us at www.rstechteam.com or email us at info@rstechteam.com.
I got to lead with that? Come on.
What?
No, that was pretty good.
I practiced.
I guess so. No, my company is ARAWR PC, or if you want to be Jeff, you could say ARAWR PC. So it's the one with the dragon or the bird logo, whatever you want to call it. My website address is www. See, I should have practiced like Chris here. I'm stumbling over my words and my tongue here today. www.arawrpc.com. I offer PC repair shop services, similar to Chris, but a little bit more in depth, not MSPs or anything like that. So, not so much. In fact, I'm going to work with you, Chris. I'm going to have you do all my remote support. In fact, that might not be a bad idea. But yeah, get in touch with me if you want to have managed solutions for repair shops, and we can manage your back end, handle all your customer calls and support service. So, cool.
Very cool. Wait, I appreciate you guys coming on the show and sharing with us today. Especially you, Chris, since you kind of ditched the last couple shows.
Yeah, there it is. I was hoping we could go the entire show without you bringing that up, but no.
No. No, I do appreciate you guys taking your time on a Sunday afternoon and coming out and sharing. I think we've had some good conversation, and we're going to keep this thing going. And, guys, we're here every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. and we have the chat room open. You can get in there, and we have a lot of fun doing that. Also, we have a 1-800 number, and I'll give it out again. It's 1-888-697-0162. You can, call in during the show, and then when we're not here live, you can call in that same number and leave us a voicemail, and we will go ahead and play that on the air and answer any questions or, listen to any stories that people have. So feel free to do that. And you guys can find me over on the Google Plus at Jeffery Halash or Twitter at TechNutPC. Like I said, you can leave a voicemail at 1-888-697-0162. And if you guys are a computer repair tech and would like to be a guest on Podnutz Daily or just leave some feedback, email me at podnutsdaily@podnutz.com. And if you'd like to feature your product or service on the show, email me at podnuts@podnuts.com. And you guys can help support the Podnutz Network the next time you're shopping at Amazon. Go to podnuts.com/Amazon. Remember, that doesn't change your price at all. It puts a little change in the pockets of the Podnutz Network to bring you these great shows. And I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast. All right. Good show, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're good, dude. Good.
Oh, gosh, that's a great thumbnail. I think I'm going to put that out there.
What's that?
I got David with, like, his eyes, like, bugged out of his head. And, yeah, I think I'm going to use that instead of mine.
Are we going to stay on live, or are you going to take us off live there before we keep going? Because it sounds like we're going to start. Yeah, we're still streaming.
We're still.
Yeah.
This is, for some reason, people love the post-show type stuff. So I figure we'll spend a few minutes or whatever. Yeah, the video is a little bit different than the audio. What I'll do is I'll edit the audio, make it all professional looking and sounding, and then this is just the raw video footage. So.
Yeah, basically, he's going to probably fix your outro, and he's probably going to take me out of the show, and that'll make it.
Sounds like we're talking to God the whole time.
Yeah.
He keeps talking about that Canadian guy from up north. I don't know where that's from.
Yeah, I think we had a really good show today. I think everything went real well, and I'm still, man. I tell you what, dealing with all these buttons and different things, it's a little different doing the show like this. So it's fun though. It's fun learning.
I have got to get better internet here. This is insane. The whole time my video was like popping in and out with you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You went out a couple times, but most of the time, you were clear and everything. So there's a little bit of sidelining, but not bad. Not bad.
Okay,
at
then
all.
I won't.
not like a couple years ago, Jeff?
Yeah, not like if you're sitting in a car using your 4G phone on a laptop trying to do a show in the middle of nowhere. I won't say who did that, but.
Oh yeah, no, we're not going to mention any names.
We're not going to mention any names, Chris. Oh man. Well, let's see what we got going on in the chat room. Anything?
People are liking the show and want us to keep the stream going.
Cool. Keep it live.
Son.
Post-show tradition, yeah, son.
I'm not your son, Corin.
I wish I was that young.
You don't want to be my age, man. I'll tell you.
Oh, why not? You're younger than I am.
Am I?
Oh, you got to be younger than I am.
Maybe.
You're look.
You got to be younger.
Youthful appearance. You too, David. You're probably younger than I am too.
All right, let's pull this one out. How old do you think I am?
That's not fair. You don't have any hair.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one. You've got a youthful face, though. I'm going to say 38.
Wow. All right. Well,
You're
Chris,
welcome.
go ahead.
Nope. Look. The women try to make me play this game all the time, and I generally turn them down.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 42.
Are you
my
really?
God.
You're not 42, are you really?
This is interesting. I'm actually 29.
Are you
Oh,
29?
No,
29.
now let's go back to what I said in the first place. This is not a fair game. You don't have hair. The minute you take hair out of it,
Yeah,
I
you know,
went to the-
I actually added some too because you do look very youthful, but it is hard to tell without the hair. So
It's all right. I go to Walmart with my wife, and she looks like she's 19, maybe, and she's 30. She's actually 1 year older than me, and everybody thinks that she's my daughter because of how young she looks.
Wow.
and she should hold on to that for as long as she can.
Oh yeah, she does. She loves it. She's like, "Oh, that's so sweet." I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh, okay, yeah,
All right,
go
so,
away."
So how old am I?
I'm thinking 30, man. I'll be nice. I'll go for the low ball since you guys
Are
were so.
kidding me? No, I don't look 30. You're crazy. Do you see all the gray on the
I-
side of my head?
Don't. Do you want me to? You know what? My wife can tell you how many gray hairs I have. She looks
Dude,
for
I
them.
can't even count that many. You've got a handful probably. I
No,
can't count how many
no.
I have.
She finds them. Oh, look, honey, I found another one. Oh, thanks.
No, I'm 44. So I'm
not bad,
I'm
not
the
bad.
old man of the crew.
Chris, you're probably like what, 20, 19?
What?
Progressive. Make you feel bad.
Now,
No.
now you're just guessing a
What are
lot
you
younger
talking
than
about?
you think.
I play WoW, guys. Yes, all right. No.
Hey, come on. Game's been around for 10 years. There's people older than me playing it.
Hey, I played World of Warcraft when it was still in vanilla, man. I was one of the hardcore guys that joined up when it first started out, and I was up until the frickin' pandas came out, man. And then I left. That's the
Oh,
last straw.
you left before. Draenor's coming out, and they're getting
No, I'm
garrisons.
good. No, I'm good. I stopped even playing Guild Wars 2, man.
There you go.
I don't know. MMOs are kind of, I don't know, passe for me. So
There you go.
I'm
That's
going
all
towards
right.
first-person shooters, though.
It's not for everybody.
No.
Nah, man, dude, if you don't play Battlefield or Call of Duty, I don't consider you a gamer.
Battlefield, man. How to do Battlefield.
Mitch.
Did I
Mitch
say that out
wins. He's
loud?
59.
What?
Mitch wins. He's 59.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
not
you
supposed
said.
to. I'm not supposed to tell anybody though.
David, are
late,
you
huh?
seriously 29?
I'm 29. I turned 30 this October. Not even kidding.
Wow. I mean, you talk like, I mean, when I talked to you before, and the reason I guess a little higher too is, you talk about being in radio and doing all these different things, and the 100 computer or businesses that you have, and I just saw you've been around for a while. I'm like,
Well,
I
that's
don't
the
think
thing,
he's
right?
40, but
Young entrepreneurs. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Young successful entrepreneurs are few and far between now, right? So when you actually see somebody who's running a business and they're succeeding in it, the immediate assumption is that you add like 5-6 years to somebody because otherwise, why would it work?
That's true. That's true. I've been running businesses since I was 16. I actually DJ'd my own dance at my own high school, which was fantastic. I was like a god there, But yeah, I mean, I've had 22 jobs in my life, and that's not including the businesses that I've run and ran over my life. So I mean, yeah, I mean, wow. Now I look at it, it's like, holy cow. But I mean, most of the time I had 2 to 3 jobs at one time. I call it the Uper work ethic. That's how we roll up here, man. We work hard. So Chris
work
is like,
hard, work long. Yeah, no, it's that's good. I think all entrepreneurs, have some of those same qualities. I've always done something. I mean, I work a regular job, but I have always done something outside my regular job. And no matter what, I mean, I've remodeled. I've done cement removal, all kinds of stuff.
oh, that's a joy.
Yeah, I finally figured out that I love working on computers, and I got tired of doing the physical labor, roofing and remodeling and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I don't want to be doing this when I'm 60. So, but to sit down behind a keyboard and work on a machine, I can do that.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. And then I got my first contract at Honda.
Oh,
You want to talk about running around and replacing computers real fast? Just wait until the cars don't get built until that computer's replaced.
Oh, I work in the automotive industry, so I totally understand that. When we break down, man, it's a huge issue.
Well, the thing that was brought this was amazing, and I'm not going to give out real numbers because I'm not allowed to. But during the first meeting that I had when I was setting up this contract with them, they sat down and said, "Okay, listen, here's what I need you to understand. For every minute that the line isn't moving, it costs us this much money." I said, "Great. So we need to put in some backup systems." They have backup systems, and there were 4 computers in the entire plant that if one of those 4 computers went down, they could not put in a backup because of the way the system worked, because it was made in the 1960s.
Well,
or something ridiculous like that. Like,
it gets even worse than that, because here's what happens. We have a lot more robotics nowadays than we used to have 20 years ago. And what will end up happening is XYZ company will come in, they'll bid out the job. A lot of times, the company takes the lowest bidder. They come in, they put in the robots, they do all this stuff. They will, most of the time, 99% of the time, the coders that are coding the program, the custom program to run these robots, will never finish the code 100%.
Yep.
Never. They always leave it open so that when our plant, the people in the plant try to take care of it, they can't.
Yep.
And so they've got to call them in, and it's like, and this is just how this game's played. And I'm like going, I'm sitting there, I'm just a line worker. I'm just like, I just want the thing to work so that we can sell the product and I can make my weekly paycheck, So.
See, now you were the one guy on the line that wanted the line running. Do you know how many cheers there were whenever the line shut down?
Oh, I know.
And then the complaining when we fixed it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all. No, dude, to sit at work all day long with nothing to do.
Yeah,
it's so boring.
No, yeah, and that, you know what? That was the one thing about IT though, is that I was never bored, right? Because there was always something to improve. There was always something to fix. There was always a project to be on. But I hate working for an hourly paycheck because I have no way of improving. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
If you're a contractor in an automotive plant as big as that, you're not the only person going for that contract. And if you turn around and say, "Listen, I need to raise my hourly rate because I'm spending so much time here," the response is, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll find a new guy then."
Yep.
I'm sure there's somebody else that'll replace you.
Yep.
So there's nowhere to move in a contract like that.
Yeah, you're stuck. It's and it's sad because I tell these guys all the time. They're like, because they'll always look at the lowest common denominator, and they'll look at the line workers, and I've tried to tell them, I'm like, listen, it's not us. I said, if you get your equipment moving, and you get us good parts down here, we'll put them away.
Yep.
We'll build whatever we need to build. We're not the issue. But I said, you guys don't want to make the other people do their jobs, or you're getting the lowest bidder to come in and take care of this equipment, and they don't care. And so you're charging their company. So what? That's even if you call them. Most of the time, you try to get your own people to do it, and they don't know how to do anything. So it's like, but that's just the way. Yeah, it's very, very frustrating from my standpoint. Again, I just want to do my job and make a paycheck. So.
I love LAMP.
Huh?
No, nobody knows that, huh? Oh man, I love LAMP.
What?
LAMP.
Just total silence there.
Yeah.
Man, holy cow! You guys gotta watch movies more, man. I got a guy that plays World of Warcraft and another guy that plays BF4 but doesn't know I love LAMP.
Yeah, but I'll take like an hour or two at the end of the week on a Sunday when we close at 9 so that I can go do a raid, and it's... Come on.
Raids? No.
Yes.
Okay, so what is I Love LAMP?
Anchorman, man. The movie Anchorman with Will Ferrell and Steve Carell.
I've seen that movie and I didn't get the reference.
Oh, okay. That's all right. That's all right. It was a
I've never
weird
seen the
reference
movie.
anyways. Oh, you got to watch it.
You've never seen Anchorman?
No.
I have a project for you, Jeff.
Go watch Anchorman.
Why don't you go ahead and use the remote support team that you've got set up here so that you can go watch a movie?
Oh, guess what? I do have a remote support team set up for me, and I am going to go watch a movie. It's just going to be Doctor Who.
Oh, God. Oh.
Oh, that's right, too. There's a new episode out.
Yeah, just came out yesterday.
No,
Or
I'm
Doctor Who fan. Oh, no.
We're both are.
Oh, man.
We could have an entire show about
I'm in
Doctor Who.
deep trouble.
Nerdvana, man.
No, I'm good. I was a Breaking Bad fan.
You know what?
Oh,
I have converted football jocks into Doctor Who, man. Anybody can like that show. You just have to watch it.
I'll tell you what, man. It was I watched here. So here's the story for Doctor Who for me. Okay, I love sci-fi. I'm a sci-fi nut. From reading sci-fi to watching sci-fi, I mean, really good sci-fi.
Okay, how old of sci-fi are we talking here?
Well, okay, so the new movie, a lot of the new movies that have come out as in the recent times here, a lot of them, if you look at what they're based off of, I like the old 40s and 30s, 40s, and 50s sci-fi. You know, the old books that were written. That's just great sci-fi. But I'll still watch.
The killer spiders and ants.
Yeah, I still I still like the Battlestar Galacticas and and stuff like that too. But when I went to watch Doctor Who, when it reprised itself, for the 2005, I went and watched it, and I watched the first episode, and I go, it was so corny that I just said, there's absolutely no way I can watch the next one. So I didn't. I let it go for about 8 months, and then somebody else had mentioned it on Facebook or something like that, and I said, all right, let me go try it again. So I watched the episode again, and I'm still going, I said, all right, let me watch a couple episodes. It took about 4 or 5 episodes. Once I got into the 4th or 5th episode, I was hooked. That was it. I was like, this is the greatest show of all time. I love it, So it's kind of one of those weird things, but it's just been a great show. This season's it's starting off a little slow, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean that's because the new Doctor is getting his feet wet.
Yeah,
I think.
The new old Doctor.
But, yeah, the new old Doctor.
Exterminate.
You know what? They are doing a really good job with that, though. I can't believe we're having a conversation about this right now, and it's being live streamed.
And we got Doctor Who for the win.
Yeah.
Whovians, yep. And it's all about the Daleks. Exterminate. Yeah.
Oh man.
Anybody,
I was
who
always more
knows what I'm talking about there, I have utmost respect for.
Yep. Took about 9 episodes to get into it. What were you saying, David?
Oh, I was more into the anime from the 80s, like Vampire Hunter D, Lensman, if you can remember that one. That was an oldie, too. We're talking like sci-fi channel, like old school.
Vampire Hunter D. Oh, wait, you watch these dubbed?
Well, yeah, because we had like the satellite, the old school big satellites that would stand outside your house, and we had to like pirate the the TV station at that time of night. The heavens rained down upon us, and we were able to see the TV.
Wow. So, Chris, you're an anime fan, right?
I am.
Okay. I have my kids love it. I don't get it. Whatever. But then again, I don't get SpongeBob SquarePants, so whatever. I'm
I'm a big kid.
Are you
love
SpongeBob. And comparing SpongeBob to anime because that's not.
I'm not making a comparison. I'm just saying. I just don't get it.
What, you don't get SpongeBob or you don't get anime? Which one, man?
Either one. Either one.
Oh.
Well, SpongeBob is a kid's show that has some adult jokes thrown in there so that the adults can stand watching it with their kids.
Okay, I can't stand watching it though.
Well, then don't. It's like Barney, right? Barney comes on TV and we change the channel. Why? Because I refuse to watch Barney. They can watch anything else. They're not watching Barney. Done.
I love you. You
love me. Why are we singing this on live TV? Akira. Oh, yes. Akira.
Oh, we're letting it all hang out right now. Everybody, okay, yeah, we're different.
Sword Art Online is actually working out really well.
I have not started that one yet.
No, they're on their third.
I want to.
Their third segment. You should. Crunchyroll.
Well, it's on Netflix too.
Okay, but I'm not watching dubbed. Come on, Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Okay, I'll watch it on Crunchyroll.
All right.
We'll convene at a later date and we'll mingle about the Crunchyroll.
There you go. Podnutz anime.
What's dubbed anyway? I mean, you mean where they actually put in like the English?
Yeah, so there's dubbed where you hear the English language, and then subbed where you hear the Japanese, and then it's subtitled.
It's better with subtitle because you actually get more of the word meaning versus if it's dubbed, they have to throw in the English terms right as they come out, and it just seems hokey at times, I guess you could call it.
Well,
okay.
Plus, if
like
it's
anime itself is not hokey at all.
Yeah. Anyway, plus if the budget is too low for the English dub, they don't get the best voice actors, so you wind up also having that issue.
Okay.
The real nasally women or the really screechy guy voices that you can't stand for 2 hours of the film.
Wow.
And Corin's right. Attack on Titan is actually pretty. I don't know. I mean, Jeff's Jeff. I don't know if he'd like Attack on Titan.
What's it about?
Well, if I tell you what it's about, then you won't watch it. So maybe you should just watch it, and we'll see what happens.
Where can I watch it at?
Apparently Netflix has dubs and subs, which I didn't know. I know Attack on Titan is on Crunchyroll, but I don't know if it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's, you know what? Just watch it. It's got a lot of action, and there is some sci-fi. Well, not some. There's a lot of sci-fi type thing to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here,
Try
I'll
it.
help you out. I found it.
Attack on
It's on
Titan.
Hulu.
It is
Yeah.
on Hulu?
It is on Hulu for free.
We Canadians don't get Hulu.
Oh, you got to use a proxy.
No, that's not the problem. I need a credit card and with a U.S. address on it.
Gotcha.
Really?
Yeah. They also block PayPal for Canadians, so you have to have a PayPal account based in the U.S., which can only be done if you have a U.S. address.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
What do you use for PayPal alternatives then?
Well, no, you can use PayPal. I have a PayPal account, but if I try to use my PayPal account to pay for Hulu, it won't allow me to do it because I have a Canadian address on my PayPal account.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's sad.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I
There's no
love
way to
Hulu.
get it.
I had Hulu
Yeah.
for a little bit. There was an online service where you could basically set up a prepaid virtual credit card, and I used that for 3 months, and then that company folded, and I lost like $4, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, that company doesn't exist anymore, so I lost Hulu.
You can't. Oh, so couldn't you just buy a prepaid credit card from the U.S.?
I could probably drive down to the U.S., buy a prepaid credit card, and then not be able to use it on Hulu because they don't take prepaid for that reason.
Are you kidding me? They're that much of a stickler?
Yeah, geo-blocking,
I hate to
man.
say this, they do. They really do take prepaids. NetSpend. You should check them out, man. I use them.
NetSpend.
Yep, NetSpend. NetSpend.com.
Prepaid debit and credit cards.
Aha. I use them myself, and they're great. The downside is they charge you, like, I think it's $3.74 every time you want to, reload your card.
What?
Yeah. Only if you do direct deposit, or like I do Bitcoin mining, so I can take all my earnings from that and just dump it to the card, which is fantastic.
You do Bitcoin
No,
mining.
sorry. Yeah, I do Bitcoin mining. I bit into that bug. That's an
Yeah.
expensive endeavor.
Wow.
Yeah, well, hope you made your money back on it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. In fact, I had a company that I had to actually stop using because of the fact that we were. He's using the outro music.
Whoops.
Oh,
didn't
gee,
hit
I
that
wonder-
button. Yeah.
Was that supposed to mean
Just
something?
shut
Jeff?
up now.
Fat finger. No, I'm sorry. You know what? I was gonna say though. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and it's getting pretty close to 5:30. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the feed, guys.
All right.
And
Will do.
it was great to. You guys can stay on, but I'm gonna for the rest of the audience. Hope you guys enjoyed the show and hope to see you back here next week. See you then.